Two notes from the start. First one is that I count this as early guide. What that mean? That mean I created this on beta server, so it's already don't need to be 100% true because beta server is magical place. Some updates are not even updated there, they're just put on the retail. Just magical place. And other thing, from the start, Blizzard is often doing class balance and other hotfixes really fast, so just check under the video if there is some update there. Anytime I got some information something is different, I will just post there some note as soon as possible so you know if everything here is 100% actual or there was a little change. Another thing what I do with early guides, because it's new DLC and everybody will be gearing, so this is focus more on the healing. Focus more on that, you'll be running dungeons to just get some gear. So everything is focused more on healing than some damage and survival for the pushing. And because usually you are now under geared and you just want to finish dungeon as soon as possible, so rather keep everybody healthy than just do more DPS, I will release some big boy pushing guide min-maxed later, but this is for you to gear. So yeah, check in description if there is something already new, and keep in mind this is not meant to be pushing high keys. Sometimes it's the same, but I'm focusing more on healing than less than some mechanic that you need to apply on very high keys. Second note is that this guide is exactly the same if you have set piece or you don't have set piece. If you have set piece, 2 set, 4 set, you are just better at it. But if you don't have it, because from start, new DLC, it takes time to get that set piece. So no worries, you will do exactly same priorities, you will do exactly same gameplay, you will be just weaker doing it. Alright, let's move on to the guide, starting with the stats. Never mind, let's close it, it's random stats, in the beta you don't have many options. I had to change gear, I just got something from the vendor. So let's not motivate yourself what I have there. First most priority is your mastery. Usually it's not, but now we are focusing on healing from start. So let's focus on mastery is still good, but the problem is it's only for healing, so later you want to do also some damage or survival, so more stats, other stats will be more important. Mastery is pure healing. But yeah, mastery is topmost priority, and it's there with the haste. Why haste? Because, well, everything will be happening faster as usual for everybody. Haste works like that. And we have a lot of abilities that we are just channeling for ages and ages and ages. So haste is very good for that. Also we have abilities, cooldowns are scaling with haste, and we have a lot of healing over time effects, and haste is increasing that. So mastery haste is our most priority. After that it's following critical strike, not only for doubling your healing when it procs, but you have mechanics for reversion and also for your breath with hero talents, that if you do critical strike, you will extend its duration by 2 seconds. So it's quite important to get that critical strike procs just to extend, and with that extend you will have more value into your ability because it will just do more for the same mana cost for the same time. Or, I mean, same time you will spend it, of course it will take longer time for that healing hot or dot to do that damage or healing. And the last one, versatility. Keep in mind on EVOKER is kinda type of class you want a little bit of every stat. It's not that strict like with Resto Shaman I want 0 mastery, something like that. EVOKER likes a little bit of each, so jumps between the stats are not so huge as some other classes might be. So let's do again. Pump mastery as the first one. If you get later, mastery will drop a little bit lower because you want some damage or survive. Then we have haste, then critical, then versatility. Let's move on talents. I prepare like 2 variants, because one is better, but other one is much more chill to play and you don't need to plan and think as much. So the easier version I really recommend for players that are starting with EVOKER to just get used to it, and then you can just switch to a little bit more pro. It's just more difficult to play because you need to know what's happening in the dungeon, so you know when to prepare healing. I mean, other build is much easier. If you want exactly these talents, the links will be in the description. So this one what I have right now is the easier version. That means you are mostly spreading your echoes, more about that later, but you are spreading, duplicating heals to Temporal Anomaly. and you are not using Echo as the ability that is just Echo. This will be terrible because there is a mechanic called Echo, and it's from spell Echo, but it's not Echo as Echo always. So this is focused on Temporal Anomaly that will be duplicating heal, and your essence are used to casting Disintegrate to get your mana back. You don't need so much time to prepare for healing, and you don't need to be worried about using less mana cost ability and planning it better. You can overheal and still have mana. So it's much simpler. I recommend this for new Evoker players, or if you just want to watch some serial and not think much about your healing. And the other version is very easy to switch. You will take out the faster casting, you will go for Essence and move talent from regenerating mana. Now you are spending Essence not on Disintegrate doing damage and recharging mana, but you are spending your Essence on Echoes. And most duplicating healings are through the Echo and not through the Temporal Anomaly that will apply weaker Echoes. This is much more time consuming, but the classic Echo is sharing 105% of healing effectiveness, and Echoes from Temporal Anomaly just 30%. So the potential is higher, but you need to really prepare ahead, and after you have applied Echo you cannot do much other stuff. You need to wait for your big heal. If you plan it too soon, you mess it up. If you plan it too late, you mess it up. So this is definitely better version what to do, but Temporal Anomaly is just much easier to play because you don't need to think ahead. When you need some healing, you need some damage, Temporal Anomaly, follow with the spell, done. In this case, if you use Temporal Anomaly too much, your mana will suffer a little. Maybe quite a lot. I will keep this more advanced talents because it's just more difficult to explain. The other version, I will just have a note. It's simple, it don't need to be explained that much, so I will keep these one talents. But I will be talking about both of them at the same time. Alright, let's move on. Now about priorities, gameplay rotation, whatever you want to call it. So, our topmost priority, well, so let's skip that, not topmost priority yet. I usually use 0 priority on some special spells that should be prepared or they are highly situational. I put on 0 priority Fire Breath because it's really high priority, but it's highly situational. So Fire Breath, it's damage ability, we know that. But Fire Breath is sharing a huge chunk of its damage as heal. It's 80% damage. What you do with it is shared, split evenly among 5 allies. That means its potential is massive, but the more target you have, the better heal it is. So if you are fighting a group of 15 enemies, this spell will just heal everybody to full. But if you're fighting just a boss, it's not so important. So that's why it's not like first most priority, because it's really depend on what situation you are on. If you have enough enemies, then you charge a breath. If it's short charge, it's more healing over time, and you can see somebody's healing. It's hard to see over here because there's no healing targets. It's not like Valdraken, but we cannot go on this beta to Valdraken to have healing dummies, so unlucky. And 80% of this damage is heal to your group. The longer you charge that breath, the more percent of damage will be instant and less percent of the damage will be dealt over time. Also with the charging, you are getting every charge additional Living Flame. So if you charge to rank 4, you will have 4 additional Living Flames with your next Living Flame cast. So let's charge it to 4, and I have Vigara for it. That means your next Living Flame will be duplicated 4 additional times. Bam, and it was 5 of them. More you charge, then you can use this duplication. But again, when you charge less, then you can extend the duration of hot. When you do critical, it's extended by 2 seconds. And that 2-second extension, because it's usually ticking every 2 seconds, that's fire damage. That means you have additional tick. So it's just increasing overall damage. How you do with that? It's similar amount of total healing, just to different mechanic. If you charge it maximum or charge less, it just matters what type of healing you want. If you want sustain healing through whole pack, for example, I like to do when there is like 20 enemies, a little enemy spot, I will just spirit first rank, and then I have nice healing over time effects for the group, and I don't need to pay much attention, and I can just jump around making utilities, stunning enemies. Our group doesn't have full health, people are quite damaged, they have 50% or less health. You will just fully charge this breath on big pack of enemies and everybody is full because there is a lot of targets. Of course, damage is decreased beyond 5 targets, but it still increases with the amount of targets. So not like if you have 5 or 50 enemies, it will be similar healing. Absolutely not. And one more mechanic we all mentioned multiple times. After we cast our Empower ability, that means Fire Breath included, then we will send up 3 Chrono Flames. A Chrono Flame is the same as a Living Flame, it's just replace ability. More about it in a moment. So this is just a good healing ability, but you need to deal damage. I have some logs from the Dungeon Stone Vault, yeah, that's where it hurts. So it's quite a huge chunk from something that you do damage anyway, so it's nice extra healing. Let's now move away from this damage ability and let's go on healing. Well, not healing yet, but it's priority number first. It's kinda already healing, but Evoker healing is about spreading echoes. What is echo? It's this main ability right on the top. What it does, it's duplicating your next healing ability on the target and with some set of percentage. It also heals by some amount, it's usually not much. I didn't check, so it's literally the last one. It's still 0.6, but we don't think about that echo ability is healing. Second ability to spread echo is Temporal Anomaly. That is applying echo on 5 targets, not 1, but only 30% effectiveness. So echo from echo ability is 105, and echoes applied by Temporal Anomaly is 30% only. So it's much weaker, but you will spread it on 5 targets. But Temporal Anomaly is quite expensive on mana, and echo is costing essence. So it's still trade which one is better in which situation. Let's talk first about these talents. You are focusing more about spreading your echoes, and then your next healing ability will be spread on the targets, 105% of effectiveness. So now I'll use reversion, for example. I got original reversion, I got a reversion from echo. It's a little bit better because it's 105%, it's not 100. So that's 5% increase. And the other target with echo just got that 105% copied ability too. And Evoker healing is about these echoes, because without them I would still heal, but it's much better with the echoes. And that's why Evoker is so good on burst healing, and there is so much burst healing in those dungeons. So Evoker really feels good. So what you usually do, you will spread these echoes manually to echo ability before some big damage. Big boost damage of coming, so you will spread it. You will use those first, let's say some better ability, breath, and then you want to apply also reversions, so you use just Temporal Anomaly, and the reversions will be with less power. Of course, when we are consuming these echoes, we want to use as strong ability as possible. So ideally consuming echoes with the Dream Breath and with our Spirit Bloom. Sharing a reversion is important too, because I have many other mechanics. A little bit about it later. It's more important to have that reversion applied than healing of a reversion. So it doesn't need to be of full power. So a reversion is ideally to spread through Temporal Anomaly, and the powerful echoes to use on your Dream Breath or your Spirit Bloom. If you are playing other build, that means you have mana sucking ability, then you are using Temporal Anomaly much more and spreading most things through that. That means you don't need to plan I don't know how many seconds before damage comes to have enough essence to share echoes, and don't use any ability between that, so you don't spend on echoes, so it's just less brain power you need to do for your healing. So you're mostly casting just Temporal Anomaly before you are casting some stronger healing ability, and then you're not using as many echoes because you are spending echo on Disintegrate, that is recharging your mana. But of course, if you need to heal really single target, then echo, just echo ability, not echo from Temporal Anomaly. This will be so confusing. It's just much better to cast it from that single target ability because it's much stronger. So still, if you need to heal a single target, go for it, but usually just Temporal Anomaly and use Essence for sucking mana. There is way more about these echoes, but I will be mentioning more about how to combine it with echo, and I will be talking about other abilities. You are really depending on positioning of the group because you have a lot of frontals that are hitting in front of you, like Temporal Anomaly or Breath. So if you have some DPS that really love to stand on maximum range away from everybody, then that's the target you want to be using your echo ability to just have at least that duplication of the ability. You won't get it twice, but it's the way how to keep them alive. So let's just move on the second priority, and that's Reversion. Reversion is not healing that much. It's quite weak heal. The point of Reversion, there is many mechanics. So what Reversion buff is actually doing apart from healing is it's increasing healing taken from you by 10%. Then if you duplicate it through Echo, you have two of them. So it's 10% and additional 10%. Even duplicating it is really worth it to just increase your healing. Second thing is that we have our beautiful set piece from Season 1 Dragonflight, that the Reversion healing has a chance to cause your next Living Flame to be casted instantly and then 50% increase damage or healing. I mean, for this mechanic, it's really important to keep your Reversions up, to increase your healing, and to be proccing this Life Spark so you can do nice big heals or damage with your Living Flames. And they are also instant, so you are saving time. Its healing is not so important, but it's important to have it applied for its buff to healing and chance to proc. Then we prefer to be sharing it through the Temporal Anomaly, because we are more about its effect, not about its healing over time. So when it's weaker, it doesn't hurt us as much as other abilities. That would be much better if it's full power duplication, not just weaker. Exactly same mechanic, so when you do critical, it's just extend duration up to 12 seconds. And there is a little addition to the Reversion. You have Golden Hour as our third strong effect. The Reversion instantly heals the target for last 15% of damage taken in the last 5 seconds. That means if somebody just got a huge damage and you apply Reversion, you will do huge healing. It's massive on Blood Death Knights because they're always getting huge damage, so it's really fun to see numbers. Let's check my data from dungeon. So you can see Reversion not so huge, but a lot of hits because I was spreading it around and it was just increasing healing taken of those targets from me and was proccing our other abilities. And Golden Hour, that's the damage from the last 5 seconds, 15%. It's almost as big as the Reversion healing. So you can see its healing over time is not very important. Golden Hour, because it's 4.3 millions. That's almost health of normal player, but I think it was tank. Yeah, you can see it's Death Knight, so yeah, it was click on the Death Knight and it was healing massive number. In case somebody is getting some huge damage taken, there is some mechanics for tank that is getting massive single target damage. So we can just prepare Echo and then we'll get 2 Reversions, and that's 50% from damage taken. It will be huge. Instant heal. There is other information about Reversion. It's Bronze spell. And our use of Bronze spells are giving up stacks of temporal compression. What it was always doing is to just decrease charging time of our next Empower ability. But with the new set piece, it's also increasing healing or damage next Empower ability by 10. It's stacking up to 4, so it's 40% increase if you have full stacks. So that's massive difference. Of course, if you don't have set, don't worry, you will still be healing decently. So the another reason that the Reversion is very important ability is just not healing as much as you could say my Dream Breath or Living Flame. Alright, moving on. Next one is Verdant Embrace. Verdant Embrace is our quick single target, quite decent heal, and while we cast it on different target than us, we are jumping to the target. I wanted to show it and then click on myself. If I clicked on the guy over there, he would zoom there, I will show it in a few seconds. So it's not only strong single target healing, we should be using often because we don't really have that many single target heals. Is that one, or we can use our Living Flame / Chrono Flame. Right, I will use it. I was almost next to it. Alright, but I jumped. You could see it. If that would be it, it wouldn't be so high in priorities. So what else is this doing? It's giving you Call of Ysra buff. That buff is increasing your next heal, so it's increasing Living Flame by 100%. Just healing, not damage of Living Flame. And Dream Breath by 40%. So usually when you're casting Dream Breath, that is longer cooldown, 30 seconds. Actually shorter because it's reduced. You want to have that buff to empower your breath. So yeah, if there is some opportunity to heal with it, you just want to use it on cooldown because it's strong here, it's not so expensive, giving you buff, and is also giving you life band. So what is that? It's sharing percentage of heal to one target on the second. So there is someone, this is my target, I will jump on him, and you can see he got buff and I got buff. That means if I heal myself, 40% of that healing is shared to him. If I heal him, 40% of that healing is shared to me. So it's additional way how this is increasing our healing. We don't need to pay much attention to that. We are just mostly healing AoE, so it will be hitting both targets. The heal will be coming between each other, so it's just increasing healing on the two targets. What you can do special with it is that that effect, life band, can be shared. This is hard to show. This is my target, and this is my third target. So I'll apply Echo on it, and I will jump on Paladin. And now 3 of us got life band, so we are sharing healing. Why is this so important? It's very important because you can use that shared healing if you use Emerald Communion. Emerald Communion is healing yourself. So after you spread this on a whole group, it follows with Emerald Communion, what is really strong single target heal. It will heal you or somebody else. That will be massive AoE heal because it will be just shared to everyone. So we can do a combo like that. For that, you need Echo on 3 targets. You don't need on everybody. Because you spread it on 3 targets, and then you will jump on the last target that doesn't have it, and you will get it too. So you will just apply 2 by ability and spread 3 by Echoes. After you follow it by Emerald Communion, it's massive AoE heal. So you can do that shiny combo. Next one on priority list we have Dream Breath or Spirit Bloom. They are on the same place. Both of them are big AoE heals. They just depend on the situation which one you want to use. So main difference in their healing is that Dream Breath is frontal and Spirit Bloom is not. That means if your group is stacked and you can hit everybody with the breath, use the breath. But if they are not stacked and you have a hard time to do frontal, then just use Spirit Bloom, because Spirit Bloom don't care if they are behind you, next to you, it doesn't matter. See the heal behind me. At one point we are deciding on which one to use. It's positioning of our group. Second one is that Spirit Bloom is healing more burst, and Dream Breath is healing more over time. So if you want sustain Dream Breath, if you want more burst, Spirit Bloom. Worth to know that Spirit Bloom is healing only 4 targets. It's never healing 5. So be careful with that, but usually tank is full and others are dying when it's AoE damage. So you usually just need to heal 4. All of these abilities you want to prefer use with some echoes on the targets, because they have cooldown and they are very, very powerful abilities. So this is the abilities you want to duplicate with an echo. Of course we are duplicating reversion, but that's different reason for that duplication. Now what they have different between each other, let's start with Spirit Bloom because it's easier. It also got part that is healing over time. So Spirit Bloom heals additional 30% over 8 seconds. So it has also some healing over time effect. And the other thing, we can also just charge it on a first charge if you need to strong single target healing. Duplicate it with Echo, or I can show on somebody else so we can see shiny number. So duplicate it with Echo and just charge on the first run. And that's massive single target heal. So if you just need to pump someone because it's only one target dying, this is what you do. Now about Dream Breath. Dream Breath, its base healing is not as shiny as Spirit Bloom, but We need to remember our code Viscera, that's 40% heal increase, and suddenly it's healing decent. Same mechanic as Fire Breath. If you use it more over time, if you do critical, its duration will be extended. That means its total healing for one use, it's increased. But of course, if you need to heal right now, just use it right now. Just more potential where you keep it just over time. Also, its Empower ability, same as Spirit Bloom, also Dream Breath. After you use it, you will cast 3 Living Flames or Chronal Flames. Same thing. So they have additional part of healing. I'll be honest, I really like Dream Breath more, so it's higher than Spirit Bloom, because I just really always don't trust this 7 cast. I cast it much more times than 7 times. I just really put this healing over time effects on the group. I'll usually keep it. But if you have Spirit Bloom higher, it's completely alright. It's always when I'm deciding, I always go for Dream Breath first and then Spirit Bloom, then otherwise, so it's just a matter of preference. If you have Spirit Bloom second instead of Dream Breath, it's absolutely cool and normal. Little tip, when you're applying Echoes, you want to jump first. If you want to use Dream Breath with Echoes, then you apply your Echoes, Temporal Anomaly, or just through clicking Echo abilities, and then you will follow with the Dream Breath, because you need to jump before, otherwise you will use that Echoes for the jump, but you want to use that buff. So jump first, then Echoes, then you can spread that healing. I almost forgot to mention that with the Dream Breath and also Spirit Bloom, same as Fire Breath, after we use it, will be send up 3 Chronal Flames, Living Flames to your targets. So usually when we use Fire Breath, it's damage 1, and when we use Dream Breath and Spirit Bloom, it's healing 1. So this is additional way how we are healing. So those abilities, Dream Breath and Spirit Bloom, are absolutely massive heals. That's why if you check my healing from the dungeon, Living Flame is the first. It's not like I casted it 66 times, but I have 552 hits. 552 hits. That means it was activated almost 10 times more than I actually use that ability, because it's just automatic. Many abilities are just duplicating it. Well, this is the past self. That's my guy that is just automatically casting them. So let's count that minus. But yeah, it's not like you are casting non-stop Living Flames. It's just other mechanics that are just casting multiple Living Flames. Last place in priorities, we have Chronal Flame. For Living Flame, it's exactly the same ability, just Chronal Flame is replacing our Living Flame. So it's exactly the same thing. It's on the last spot of priorities, but it's still very important ability, and it's even first here in the healing. What's the difference between Living Flame and Chronal Flame? That after they change name, it's also repeating 50% of damage or healing done to the target in the last 5 seconds, up to 176,000. So there is some limit. It cannot be like Golden Hour that can heal millions or just 100,000. So that literally only difference that this 15% damage or healing taken in the last 5 seconds. It's hard to spot because this is not a differentiating, it's just putting everything together over here. Ideally, we want to use this if we don't have Spirit Bloom, Dream Breath, and we have our proc from Life Spark, so it's 50% increase healing or damage, and it's also instant. So that's 50% boost. And if you want to have strong single target, you want to combine it also with the Call of Viscera. That's 100% boost. So it's plus 100 and then plus another 50%. That is massive single target heal. It's even better than Spirit Bloom. So you can even then empower it by the Echo for absolutely big boom of single target healing. If you don't have any of these buffs, then we are using this ability if we have cooldown on other abilities. We don't have our jump and Reverence, we don't have Dream Breath, we don't have Spirit Bloom. Then what's left for us to do? We are just casting our Chronal Flames. Before it was much weaker, now ability is doing much more. So it's not that bad to actually just keep spamming casting them. If you have too many buffs of Life Spark, then just feel free to just use instant to do damage to the single target. It's worth it. Another mechanic that is also with the reversion, I forgot to mention, it's Living Flame / Chronal Flame, whatever. I'm used to call it Living Flame. And the reversion have chance to make your next Essence ability free, stack out 2 times. So there are another power to those abilities, and Essence ability, you can use Disintegrate for free with no essence cost. If you are on the mana sucking build, if you are on more Echo, like Echo single target ability, then use it on that. I have a few notes on the end of the priorities. I didn't put Emerald Blossom anywhere. Usually it's not worth it, but if you have everything else on cooldown, that means even Echo wouldn't be that much worth it, because they need to be still spread. And you have some essence bursts, so casting for free, and everybody is stacked. That can be situation you can actually use Emerald Blossom and be useful, but usually we don't do that. And if you have a little bit more time, you can just spread Echoes and cast Crown of Flames for better effect than Emerald Blossom, as it's healing pathetic numbers, as we don't have any talents into that ability. So specific situation it can be, but just try to avoid it. You can even put it away from your bars, because it's much easier to use it wrong than actually good, so why try? And second note I have that if you're playing with Temporal Anomaly, that means you have quite high in priority. Every moment you have free time, you don't need to heal right now. Any spare moment, you are just casting Disintegrate to get your mana back. So it's not only our damage ability, but it's important for healing, because we need mana for healing, and this is giving us mana. So a little summary of our priorities. So from start, depending on situation, we are using our Fire Breath. If you have many targets, very strong heal, also doing strong damage. Then our topmost priority is spreading Echoes, depending which build, more Temporal Anomaly or more Echoes as a single target spell. Then we have Reversion. It's not healing as much this over time, but there is many other mechanics this ability is doing. Some increasing healing for last 5 seconds damage taken, and much more. Then we have Pattern Embrace, because not only healing, but also we want that buff to increase our next healings. And if nothing else, we can just use it for repositioning ourselves, because it can be used for movement ability. You need to go somewhere, somebody's standing there, you just zoom right with it. If you just want buff and you really don't want to move because you are in some tight spot and you would get damage if you move, just use it on yourself. You won't jump anywhere. After that, next priority is Dream Breath or Spirit Bloom, depending on our situation and what type of healing we want. And the last, not least, is our Chrono Flame or Living Flame, whatever you want to call it. And between that, if you are playing mana build, you need to be sucking with Disintegrate to regain mana as part of our healing rotation, but it's not exactly healing. Now about our cooldowns. So first cooldown to click is our Stasis, the really important cooldown. What is Stasis doing? It's saving our 3 next heal abilities, and after we will reuse that ability or end of duration. I think it's 1 minute 30 seconds. After that time will be automatically used. We will do that abilities again, so you can duplicate your abilities. What do you want to save here? You want to save as strong ability as possible. So ideal thing you want to get there is a Dream Breath, Spirit Bloom, and Temporal Anomaly. You want to use these 3 or any combination. You can be charging it forever. After you click it, it doesn't have duration. Duration starts when it's full, when you use 3 healing abilities. So you can charge it even 3 times with Dream Breath, or you can charge it 3 times with Spirit Bloom. So any combination you want, but these are 3 abilities that are a very good choice. What you don't want to get there, you don't want to get Verdant Embrace there, or Chrono Flames, or Echo, because it's just not worth it. For example, if you put 3 Echoes there, 1 Echo, 2nd Echo, 3rd Echo, and you could argue that it will be duplicating on next ability, but after I use Dream Breath now, it will be duplicated only on 3 targets, not 5. After I use it, and you use Spirit Bloom, it's also be duplicated on 3 targets, not 5. But if you charge Dream Breath and Spirit Bloom, it will be duplicated on 5 targets, so it's already better. So yeah, these are 3 abilities you want to put inside, in any order, any combination. What I usually do is I will jump first, then I will cast Temporal Anomaly to apply Echoes, then I'll follow with Dream Breath to duplicate healing over time effect, and then I'll just fully cast Spirit Bloom. If you put Empower ability in Stasis, it will also remember how much you charged. So if you charge it on full, it will be used as fully charged Empower ability. Of course, for more burst healing, you can build Spirit Bloom, well, Temporal Anomaly, Spirit Bloom first, and then Dream Breath. It's up to you. I'm jumping before it because you don't want weaker ability as Meta Embrace to be saved in a stasis. So I will jump before to get buff, then I will use that ability so it's buffed. And after I will reuse that stasis, I want to jump again because it's not safe to get the buff again if there is Dream Breath inside or some ability with that. Of course, if it's count on single target, but you usually don't need stasis for that because you don't know which target it will be dying. You cannot choose which target. After you single target ability, it will be saved on the exactly same target. So if you are sure somebody will get again huge damage, alright, but it's usually not happening. So we are preferring putting their AoE abilities because it's hitting everyone. But don't worry, fully charged abilities, they're duplicated at the exactly same moment. It's massive single target healing too. Then we have Tip of the Scales. So it was always doing that our next Empower ability, doesn't matter if it's Fire Breath, Dream Breath, Spirit Bloom, one of those, it will be cast instantly at maximum charge. That's what it was before. Now we have additional mechanics with it because, of course, everything is just additional mechanics with this DLC. Nothing is simpler, they just added more. So now we will get our haste 30%, movement speed, and cooldown recovery rate, everything 30%. For 30 seconds, but it's decaying over time, so on the end of duration it's 0.1 and then nothing. So it's not like 30% buff for all the time. So yeah, huge start increase, everything will be faster. Cooldown recovery rate is really nice on EVOKER. When you cast Empower ability during this 30 seconds buff, you will apply buff on an ally and had chance to duplicate their damage by 50%. So you are partially augmentation EVOKER, we are increasing damage of our thing too. It's not much, maybe it will do, I don't know, 0.5 total damage in the dungeon, but hey, it's something extra. You don't need to think about it, it will just happen. Next cooldown we have Emerald Communion. I won't be talking a lot about this one because we talk about it with the Veteran Embrace. So we do that nice AoE combo healing, but other use for it, well, it's ability that is strongly healing you, and if you are on full health, then whole overhealing will be shared to another ally. So it also can be used if you are the one who is dying the most, just heal yourself a lot. If everybody is full and only one target is dying, then you can also use that because you will be 100%, so whole healing of the ability will be shared to your friend. It's also regenerating a little bit of your mana. But yeah, usually you want to use it with combination of Veteran Embrace to that life bond and share a huge, massive AoE heal. But you can save it yourself, save some ally. If you use it for AoE healing without that life bond, it's almost useless on AoE. Then we have a rescue. I'm not sure if I haven't even been that, so I don't think I can rescue anyone if he's not in my team. Actually, you cannot do that. But you will tag him, and together you will go on your spot. So, of course, to save somebody who doesn't have movement ability, or just he's not good enough player, so he's standing in some front row or something, you can save him. But also is a really important part of it, after you use rescue, then you and the target you rescued have shield for 30% of the maximum seconds. So before big AoE explosion, just use it on someone, both of you got a huge shield. If you don't want to move them, just click on a target and choose point exactly where they are standing. I cannot use it. But if you just click under them they are standing, they won't get confused because they just move somewhere else. So if you just want to use it for shielding, just don't move them. Click on the target and then on the exactly same spot where the target is standing. I also put Paradox. Yeah, I've seen it's not very popular choice, but I think when you are just learning EVOKER or you're just killing and blah blah blah, people are getting used to dungeons, so they are just standing whatever. EVOKER have shorter range also. So I feel like Spatial Paradox, I have loud Vigara for that. It's amazing because your range for abilities massively increased. That means if somebody is stuck on other side of boss room and it's 50 yards, you will click that and you can heal him with some abilities. That's massive increase. No, massive increase to your healing. It's allowing you to actually heal at targets. So I recommend it. It's a great way to increase your range. And of course you can move while casting, but we can do that with hover anyway. And we cannot still charge our empower ability doing that, so we can just cast some Chrono Flames. I also want to mention our Cult Raising Flame, because so many people are forgetting that it exists. I've been with so many Augmentation Evoker, Preservation Evokers in the group that literally never use this ability in the dungeon. It's really, really strong. Of course you can dispel something you cannot, so Curse or Disease, but it's massive because it's only way how to dispel bleed, well then some immunity. But this is non-immunity way how to get rid of it. And there is often many bleeds in the dungeons that are stacking forever, blah blah blah. So think about this ability exists because it can be really, really, really strong. So many people are forgetting about it. That's why I included it in the cooldowns, but I usually don't do dispels or stuff like that. Really important. On the end, big king of our healing, Rewind. What is Rewind doing? Last 5 seconds, damage taken last 5 seconds, it's healing that. Same as Reversion, or similar than our Chrono Flames. So, big damage will happen. You will click it after, of course, not before, because it's not healing over time. Well, it is healing over time, but you need to get damage first, because it's healing from damage. And then 66% of damage taken in the last 5 seconds will be healed. So it's massive AoE heal. Can be used even on single target, if that single target is really getting beaten. If some tank is jumping from 100 to 20% health and he will jump multiple times in 5 seconds, and then you click Remind, he will heal 20 million of his health, and his maximum health is like 10. So it can be really, really strong single target healing too. Just keep in mind, you need to get damage first, then you click Remind, but it's absolutely game changer if you click it. Everybody full. Okay, on the end, as usual, we are dealing some damage. Topmost priority is of course Fire Breath, because it's also healing. So we are non-stop using this Fire Breath. Second one is our other cooldown, Deep Breath. If you have talent, it can also stun, but you want to use it on AoE, it's quite a longer cooldown, and you would do nice damage. So yeah, high priority because it's good damage, well, cooldown. Third one, it's just if you need to move. It's our Azure Spikes. It's not doing much, even on AoE is not doing much, so this is literally if you need to move, and it's something to do if you don't need to heal. After that is Disintegrate, and if you don't have Essence to casting Disintegrate, then we are casting Winging Flame. Of course, Disintegrate, in a case we don't need it for Echo ability. Yeah, we can just spam single target ability, but that's how EVOKER works. Your AoE is just literally breath and 2-minute cooldown with Deep Breath. We don't have other AoE's abilities. That will be all from me. If you want exactly the same guide, then I have everything what I said now in text on my Discord. Link is in the description. When I'm recording these videos, I'm just looking at that guide and I'm following it, so it's the same thing. So if you prefer that format, go there and check it there. If you have any questions, just let me know. I will be happy to answer, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.